Have you ever wondered how anger, resentment, guilt, and worry affect your well-being, and how you can free yourself from them to live a life of abundance? Welcome to the Monk's Diary. Today we will study the 4 most harmful emotions that affect our well-being: anger, resentment, guilt, and worry. These emotions can control our lives in negative ways, but with understanding and practice, we can learn to free ourselves from them. Join us on this journey of introspection and discovery as we begin with the parable of the withered garden. We hope that in it you will find the emphasis of the teachings that will help you reflect on your actions in daily life. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful garden in Australia where the most splendid flowers and the luscious trees grew. This garden was the pride of its owner, a wise old man named Arthur. Arthur cared for his garden with great dedication, but one day he began to notice that some plants were starting to wither. Arthur observed that a majestic rose bush was losing its flowers. Filled with anger, he began to strike the ground with a shovel, blaming the soil for the loss of his roses. However, his fury only made things worse. It damaged the roots and accelerated the deterioration of the rosebush. In the end, he understood that his anger had solved nothing. On the contrary, it had caused more damage. In another corner of the garden, a fruit tree stopped bearing fruit. Arthur, feeling resentment toward the tree for its lack of production, stopped watering and caring for it. Day after day, he walked past it, ruminating on his bitterness. The neglected tree dried up completely. It was then that Arthur understood that his resentment had been like a poison that not only affected the tree but also his own spirit. Arthur began to feel deep guilt over the death of the rosebush and the fruit tree. He blamed himself for not being a better gardener, for not foreseeing the problems in time. This guilt paralyzed him, and he stopped caring for the entire garden. After a few weeks, guilt had caused the whole garden to begin to wither. Later, Arthur began to worry constantly about the future of his garden, about whether a plague might attack it. His worry kept him awake at night, and during the day he was so absorbed in his thoughts that he did not notice the small signs of life and recovery in some plants. One day, a friend of Arthur came to visit, and upon seeing the state of the garden and his friend, he said, "Arthur, your anger, your resentment, your guilt, and your worry have withered not only your garden but also your soul. These useless emotions have stolen the peace and joy you once had." Arthur realized the truth in his friend's words. He decided to leave behind anger, resentment, guilt, and worry. Instead, he began to care for the garden with patience and love, without expecting immediate results, accepting the mistakes of the past and focusing on the present. Over time, the garden bloomed again, more beautiful than ever. Arthur learned that negative emotions only bring more pain and suffering, while patience, acceptance, and love can transform even the most withered land into a paradise of life and beauty. Indeed, the 4 most harmful emotions that affect our well-being: anger, resentment, guilt, and worry, are like weeds that invade our inner garden. Anger sprouts quickly, burning everything in its path with its destructive fire. Resentment takes deep root, poisoning the soil with its persistent bitterness. Guilt coils around our roots, suffocating our growth with its crushing weight. And worry is a constant fog that clouds our vision, preventing us from seeing the beauty and opportunities around us. To cultivate a garden of peace and joy, we must pull these weeds out by the roots and nourish our spirit with love, patience, and acceptance. Before continuing, if these lessons awaken your interest and you find value in the search for strategies to manage your emotions, we invite you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay until the end, because together we will shape a path of growth and empowerment that will transform our lives forever. Next, we will explore in detail each of these 4 negative emotions that affect our well-being. First, anger. Anger is a powerful emotion that can consume us if we do not learn to manage it. Although it may arise as a natural response to situations of injustice or frustration, letting anger take control leads to destructive behaviors and damaged relationships. For Buddha, clinging to anger is like holding a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. Anger can have deep roots in past experiences, trauma, or even unfulfilled expectations. It often manifests as an explosive reaction or as constant irritation. When we allow it to build up, it can appear in sudden outbursts or in a perpetual attitude of bitterness. Imagine a situation in which someone cuts you off in traffic in Australia. Your immediate response might be an outburst of anger. However, this reaction, although understandable, does not change the situation and can ruin your day. When you feel anger, try the square breathing exercise. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then wait for 4 seconds before inhaling again. Repeat this cycle until you feel the anger dissipate. Physical exercise is also an excellent way to release accumulated tension and channel energy in a constructive way. 2. Resentment. Resentment is an emotion that feeds on the constant repetition of past wounds. Holding grudges not only damages our relationships but also affects our mental and physical health. The South African leader Nelson Mandela said that holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Resentment is a slow poison that accumulates in the heart, gradually poisoning joy and peace. Resentment is like a heavy anchor that keeps us trapped at the bottom of the sea, preventing us from moving forward. Resentment often originates when we feel we have been treated unfairly and have not had the opportunity to express or resolve those feelings. Over time, this can lead to a state of bitterness and distrust toward others. Think of a situation in which a friend did not keep an important promise. Holding on to that grudge can create an emotional barrier between you, affecting the relationship in the long term. Try to forgive. This does not mean that you justify the bad behavior of others, but that you free yourself from the emotional burden you carry. Try to understand the other person's perspective. This can help you see the situation more clearly and reduce resentment. Speak directly and honestly about your feelings with the people involved. This will allow paths toward reconciliation and understanding to open. Write a letter to the person toward whom you feel resentment. You do not need to send it, just the act of expressing your feelings can help you release that emotional load. 3. Guilt. Guilt is the belief that one has done something wrong. Guilt can be real or imagined. Guilt is an invisible chain that ties us to the past, preventing us from moving toward the future. Guilt is like a dark shadow that follows us everywhere, darkening even our brightest moments. Mild guilt can be useful when it motivates us to correct mistakes, but when it becomes a constant burden, it can paralyze our ability to move forward. Chronic guilt can undermine our self-esteem and lead to a persistent feeling of not being good enough. This emotion can arise from past actions, wrong decisions, or even external expectations. Imagine that you made a mistake at work that affected your team. Feeling guilt is natural, but letting that guilt consume you can prevent you from performing optimally in the future. Practice self-compassion and remember that we all make mistakes. This can help reduce self-criticism. If possible, take steps to correct the damage caused. This can ease guilt and bring a sense of closure. Accept that you cannot change the past, but that you can learn and grow from your experiences. Each night before going to sleep, dedicate a few minutes to reflect on the day. If you feel guilt about something, write down what happened and what you can do about it. Then repeat to yourself, I am learning and growing, and I forgive myself for my mistakes. 4. Worry. Worry is an emotion that can paralyze us, preventing us from enjoying the present and planning for the future effectively. Worry is a dense fog that clouds our vision, preventing us from clearly seeing the path ahead. Worry is like a heavy rock on the chest, making each breath difficult and robbing us of calm. Worrying may seem like a form of preparation, but it often turns into an endless cycle of anxiety that wears us down mentally and physically. Suppose you are worried about an important presentation at work. Excessive worry can prevent you from preparing properly and enjoying other aspects of your life. Practicing mindfulness can help you focus on the present moment and reduce the tendency to worry about the future. Set aside specific time to address concerns and create action plans. This can reduce your anxiety. Limit the time spent on sources of stress such as news or social media. This can help decrease constant worry. Emotional management not only gives us the power to transform our inner life, but also significantly improves our interactions and relationships with others. By becoming aware of our emotions and actively working to control them, we can transform our perspective and our responses to adversity. Anger, when managed properly, can be replaced by calm and understanding, allowing us to resolve conflicts in a constructive way. Likewise, but by letting go of resentment, we free our heart from emotional poison, opening ourselves to healthier and more enriching relationships. Emotional management empowers us to live with greater serenity and joy, fostering an environment in which peace and well-being prevail. The ability to manage guilt and worry is equally liberating and vital for a balanced life. Guilt, when addressed with compassion and self-understanding, allows us to learn from our mistakes without becoming trapped in the past. This gives us the opportunity to grow and continually improve. On the other hand, by controlling worry, we free ourselves from constant anxiety about the future, allowing us to fully enjoy the present. Together, these skills not only improve our mental and emotional health, but also enable us to make wiser decisions and live a fuller and more satisfying life. In the end, managing our emotions is not just a personal well-being practice, but a way to enrich every aspect of our lives. Ultimately, true freedom is not found solely in the external world, but in the peace we manage to cultivate within ourselves. By freeing our heart from anger, resentment, guilt, and worry, we break the chains that bind us to suffering. The key to a full and balanced life lies in letting go of these destructive emotions and embracing compassion, understanding, and inner peace. Only then can we truly live in harmony with ourselves and with the world around us. The journey toward a life free of these harmful emotions begins with a single step. You may wonder what that step is. Make the conscious decision to change. If you found this video useful, do not forget to like it, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Leave a comment with your thoughts and what topics you would like to see in future videos. Thank you for staying until the end of this video. Give us a comment with your favorite part. Until the next video,